Wasteland Coder here again. Look, today I found this thing. Today we're going to talk about the solid principles, design principles. So solid stands for single responsibility, and then open-closed principle, Liskov substitution, and interface segregation, and dependency inversion. And today we're going to look at single responsibility and interface segregation. So single responsibility is defined, these are all just Wikipedia basically definitions. So single responsibility is defined as every module or class should have responsibility over a single part of the functionality, and that responsibility should be entirely encapsulated by the class, module, or function. Uncle Bob Martin says it simply as a class should have only one reason to change. And then interface segregation is pretty closely tied to single responsibility, and it just says that no client should be forced to depend on methods it does not use. You can see how that's close to the single responsibility, because if there's a lot of different types of methods inside of the interface or dependency, then it's not very single responsibility. It has multiple different things going on in there. And basically the background behind interface segregation is that a system may become too coupled on multiple levels, that it's really, really hard to make a change without changing a bunch of other things all at once. So if we take a look at a class such as this, it's obviously multiple responsibilities class. In here we've got a bunch of different, let's say, factory constructor classes. It's got a bunch of public static methods on it for constructing the object, such as create an object, and create an express object without a rate card, create an express object with a rate card, create express object from template, just a plain create object, another create object from template, just a bunch of different ways of creating this one single class. That can be a hint that there's too much going on inside of here. Further on down, it's got Boolean can create thing on that, where it passes in an instance of multiple responsibilities on that, called that. It's called a get org default workflow, get default approver. Just if we take a look just holistically at this, right, it's got multiple things going on. For one, we have a express object versus a apparently non-express object. We've got without a rate card, with a rate card, templates, and then express object from a template, just a plain object, another from template. We have just this static helper on here that can create a thing. Who knows what that's really for? And then we have workflows and users that are all inside this class. That org default workflow, what does that have to do with this class? Just all sorts of different things going on. So if you have somebody that depends on multiple responsibilities, like it may have to deal with all these different types of objects, then it may not actually care about. Like if I want to just construct one of these guys, which of these 15 objects am I really going to care about? Do I care about rate cards? Do I not? Do I need an express object? Like, I don't know. I just want to create one. So the best thing to do is to split it into multiple pieces. And that's both single responsibility and interface segregation. You can create interfaces dedicated to what you need. So that as a client, you can create some interface that maybe deals with only express objects that don't have rate cards, and that can be something slightly different than express object with a rate card. Maybe under the covers in the actual implementation they are implemented in the same class, but you depend on different things from each of them, so you define them in different ways. That's completely possible, and that happens all the time. These things down here, the static helper may in fact just live on an object just fine. We can't really tell just from this code here, but just having a static helper on here either smacks of a utility class that kind of is a design smell in general, or it just needs to be an instance method, not a static on the class itself. Then down here, get org default workflow. That's probably just a method that needs pulled up to some org class, maybe. Probably the same with default approver. That may be something that's really has to deal with org and it's just implicit, or maybe it really has to do with this class. We don't really know, but those are some things you can do to fix it. Thanks. See you next time to talk about more solid principles.